Okay, good evening. Thank you for joining me again tonight. So this evening I'd like to continue exploring the theme of Dharma joy that Gil introduced in the practice instructions and in today's talk. And although at face value it might sound like Dharma joy is a good thing, in practice it's not always so easy to access. And I've seen in my own experience and also in the experience of many students that even just the idea of Dharma joy for some people can challenge some pretty deep conditioning. So we have that mind's inherent negativity bias for a start. That means almost biologically we tend to overlook or dismiss what's pleasant, what's benign, what's nourishing, and instead to pay much more attention to whatever is unpleasant, uncomfortable, painful. And sometimes we can even interpret those experiences, the challenging ones, as being somehow more real, more true, more valid than any experiences that are connected with ease and well-being. And then on top of that inherent negativity bias, we often add our own individual conditioning and our family conditioning and our societal conditioning. And all of those can come together to reinforce a pretty deep and usually unconscious belief that Dharma practice itself is somehow supposed to be challenging, supposed to be difficult, even supposed to be painful. And if it's not those things, then we must be doing something wrong, not working hard enough, not going deep enough, not seeing clearly enough. At least this was true for me early on in my own practice, and because of those kind of unseen attitudes, I had a lot of unconscious resistance, even to the idea that joy, enjoyment, might be a necessary part of this practice. So I'm laying all that out just to invite you to notice, perhaps, any views or beliefs of your own that may have come up today when you were hearing Gil earlier, or maybe coming up for you now, some sense of what real Dharma practice is supposed to look like or feel like. And if perhaps you do recognize some bias in your own conditioning, then over the next few days you might like to play with that, experiment with that, and just consciously tune in to pleasant experiences every now and then, and just to notice any reactions, either of pushing away and resistance, or perhaps holding on and clinging. And see if instead you can just gently open to and stay present with what registers as pleasant. Because as Gil has been emphasizing, this is what supports our well-being. And from that well-being, it allows many other skillful qualities of heart and mind to flourish. So we actually started exploring that back on opening night. If you remember, I invited us to explore this foundation quality of dana, of generosity, and how that can very naturally give rise to appreciation, to gratitude, and that in turn makes available many other beautiful heart qualities, such as openness and warmth, steadiness, delight, connectedness, joy, and so on. So in this evening's meditation, I'd like to come back to this theme of well-being that Gil spoke of, and to see if we can get a direct experience of that. And to do that, we'll begin by coming back briefly to that generosity and gratitude that we touched into on opening night, and then see if that might help us to open up to some sense of ease and well-being that we can then settle into. So let's give that a try. So before your awareness becomes a little more internal, as we did on opening night, I just invite you again to take a minute or two to take in the screen in front of you. And here we are again. Is it one day later or 2 days later? And you might feel a little more sense of connection of kinship with this array of beings on your screen now. Even if you haven't actually met them before, you haven't met each particular person, just joining them on the screen multiple times a day, we can start to become a familiar presence to each other. And we can start to appreciate that sense of moral support we get from recognizing, oh, there they are again. Oh, there they are again. And, oh, here I am again. So we have that moral support that we can tap into, that our presence offers to each other. You might just see if that brings a little flicker of appreciation. And then opening your awareness to expand a little now beyond the screen in front of you. To take in the wider environment that you're located in now. Whether that's a room or whether that's outside. Just take a moment to look around, to take in the space where you are. And as you do that, you might tune into anything about your current environment that you can feel a sense of appreciation or gratitude for. Perhaps beginning with just the acknowledgement that you do have somewhere to sit right now. It's relatively safe and comfortable, where you can experience some degree of ease and well-being. So just taking that in for a moment. And then notice any other aspects of your environment now that register as somewhat pleasant. Perhaps things that you can see. Experiences that are comfortable. Perhaps pleasant sounds. Pleasant memories or associations. Just opening to whatever is slightly pleasant in your environment right now. And let that pleasantness be a resource. As you gently close your eyes now, start to bring your awareness a little more internally. Connecting with the experience of the body sitting. And just notice any effect of that invitation to orient to what's pleasant in your outer environment. Noticing any effect of that on your inner environment. Could be very faint or mild, but perhaps there's just a little trace of more openness. Or warmth. Appreciation. Maybe steadiness. Calm. Expansiveness. Not forcing or manufacturing anything, but just seeing if there might be some of those qualities. If they're in the terrain of well-being. Letting that well-being register as fully as it can in the body, the heart, the mind. Perhaps in the body there's a sense of a little more openness and warmth, softening and ease. Possibly the slight trace of a smile. Or maybe an overall energy of lightness. A kind of bubbling up or welling up. A sense of uplift. And the mind perhaps settling into a quiet contentment. Not trying to manufacture anything, but just attuning to what's true for you. Even the slightest trace of ease, openness, well-being. If you are able to connect with some flicker of warmth and ease, just seeing if that sense of ease and well-being might begin to expand a little. Begin to suffuse through the whole body. So the whole body now begins to soften and relax even more fully. As if you are slowly settling into a warm bath with water of exactly the right temperature. So the whole body can just relax and settle and soften and soak into this ease and well-being. And allowing the thread of the breathing that gentle rhythm, almost of massaging, to continue deepening this experience of ease and well-being. So with every out-breath, you can relax any remaining residue of tension. And settle a little more fully into this ease. Into this well-being. And into the silence now.